Attention. Welcome to the Different Spectrums podcast. We dive into the wild world of mental health discussions. Get ready for profound talks, a sprinkle of humor and sarcasm, and a touch of colorful language. Just a quick heads up, our show reflects our individual opinions, which may not align with the standpoint of the podcast, our featured guests, or any related corporate entities. Our mission? To illuminate through laughter and satire because everyone needs a good chuckle. Chill out and don't stress over the small stuff. Legal troubles? No, thank you. Cancel culture? Please spare us. We'd rather keep this space lawsuit free. So buckle up, have a good time, and join us as we navigate the vibrant realm of mental health on the Different Spectrums podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. By using our link, you can get 10% off your first month of therapy. So, Naz, as a therapist on BetterHelp, what has your experience been like?
I've been doing it since January 2021, and it's been really fun and exciting. I've been able to reach clients all over the United States and the world. I've had good relationships. I've had folks that I've had for a couple months and a good handful where I've had for almost 2 years now. So it's magnificent. I've enjoyed my time and my clients. I love them.
Awesome. You can do it all from your phone or computer via phone call, video chat, or messaging, however you feel the most comfortable. Let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you all from the comfort of your own home. Visit betterhelp.com/DSP or choose Different Spectrums podcast during sign up and enjoy a special discount on your first month. That was. Remember, don't take us too seriously.
Or do. It's completely up to you.
Also, don't forget to run up those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it. So, our next guest for the show is a clinical psychologist, an ADHD advocate, a writer, educator, and a mother. She also provides individual and group therapy services in Atlanta to children, teens, and adults. And most of them are neurodivergent. So, fits here. Please welcome Dr. Gilly Kahn. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm really excited about being here.
It's
Wonderful.
it's going to be a fun time, a real fun time. So today we are doing the movie Frozen. Right, Frozen. There are a bunch of topics. One in particular we're really going to focus on is not only ADHD, but then also PTSD, especially when we have it with Anna and Elsa. So, got a few great things to talk about. Naz, anything before we get into the show?
Yeah. So I'm excited to finally get into this because it's like a big time classic with a lot of folks. This will be my little story time here, Spence. Is I didn't realize how entrenched some of these songs are into my DNA. We went to Disney World, and me and Spence go to they got like a play. It's the Frozen play, and we're in there, and it's like in the Parthenon, like it's outside, but it's a play. And Spence looks at me, and I know every song. I know every word, every lyric to every song. I'm just jamming out, and Spencer's like, "Who the fuck are you?" He was like disgusted.
I didn't know. I didn't know you were such a Frozen fan.
How do you
I found out.
Like, Frozen is so catchy.
It's so catchy, but it just wasn't the one song. It was like every song.
I know.
And I'm like, I've only seen it like once. And I'm like, I don't, because all my students listen to the soundtracks all the time. And right. And there was some of them, this is their comfort show. And so they keep playing it and playing and playing it. So I heard it a lot because they were playing it around me. But it's in other little subsections in culture too. It was just funny where Spencer's like, and there's bubbles everywhere. I think there was bubbles at one point in time in the damn theater. I was having a blast. Having a blast.
You sure were. You sure
Autistic
were.
magic. Autistic joy.
That's such a
Disney
moment. But yeah, let's get into the show. We got a lot of good topics to talk about, a lot of emotions to talk about, and some music. So we're going to hear some songs, and hopefully we don't get copyright blocked and strikes, which we won't. But if we do, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Don't put that out there.
Bring it back. Let's do it. Like, yeah, whoop, whoop.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop. Am I supposed to say that?
Hey, hey,
Got it. You got it.
look at
that.
who can assimilate.
Exactly. Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I'm a pretty good follower.
You're good, yeah. Our last guest just started. She was like, "Wait a minute, what's going on?" And then she just started like talking about the movie, and we're like, "Wait, girl, wait."
No, stop it.
Funny.
Full
Good.
panic attack. Sorry, Rebecca. Sorry.
And I'm gonna come on like right after her, right?
Yep.
So that way I just
Yes.
look like the bigger fish in the small
Yep,
pond.
there you go. Oh, I'm sure that'll make her feel great. Jesus,
Yeah, she'll feel real nice about herself.
she's already a
Yeah,
perfectionist.
That's her problem, not mine.
Shout out.
About to start a beef for
Yeah.
podcast.
The difference between social workers and psychologists, as you can see right there, people. Okay, let's get into the podcast.
Jeez.
No
You
rebuttal.
can see what?
I said the differences between psychologists and clinical social workers. Y'all are cold and dead inside.
Oh, when we're talking about Frozen, come on.
Yeah, I know. All right, let's get to the show.
Tie it all back in.
Freeze you.
The snow glows white on the mountain tonight, not a footprint to be seen. A kingdom of isolation, and it looks like I'm the queen. The wind is howling like this swirling storm inside. Couldn't keep it in, heaven knows I tried. Don't let them in, don't let them see. Be the good girl you always have to be. Conceal, don't feel, don't let them know. Well, now they know. Let it go, let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go. Turn away and slam the door. I don't care what they're going to say. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway. It's funny how some distance makes everything seem small. And the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. It's time to see what I can do to test the limits and break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free. Let it go, let it go. I am one with the wind and sky. Let it go, let it go. You'll never see me cry. Here I stand, here I stay. Let the storm rage on. My power flurries through the air into the ground. My soul is spiraling in frozen fractals all around. And one thought crystallizes like an icy blast. I'm never going back. The past is in the past. Let it go, let it go. When I rise like the break of dawn. Let it go, let it go. That perfect girl is gone. Here I stand in the light of day. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway.
Thank you. Oh, there she is. Elsa! I mean, Queen. Me again. May I present Prince Hans of the Southern Isles?
Your Majesty,
We would like
your blessing
of
our marriage.
Marriage? Yes. I'm sorry, I'm confused. Well, we haven't worked out all the details ourselves. We'll need a few days to plan the ceremony. Of course, we'll have soup, roast, and ice cream, and then... Wait, would we live here? Here?
Absolutely.
Anna. Oh, we can invite all 12 of your brothers
What?
to stay
No.
with us.
No.
Of course, we have the room. I don't know,
Wait,
some of them must
slow down. No one's brothers are staying here. No one is getting married.
Wait, what?
May I talk to you, please? Alone?
No. Whatever you have to say, you can say to both of us.
Fine. You can't marry a man you just met.
You can if it's true love.
Anna, what do you know about true love?
Well, more than you. All you know is how to shut people out.
You asked for my blessing, but my answer is no. Now, excuse me.
Your Majesty, if I may ease
No,
your...
you may not, and I think you should go. The party is over. Close the gates.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Elsa, no, wait. Give me my glove. Elsa, please, please. I can't live like this anymore.
Then leave.
What did I ever do to you?
Enough, Anna.
No, why? Why do you shut me out? Why do you shut the world out? What are you so afraid of? I said enough!
Sorcery. I knew there was something dubious going on here.
Elsa.
Yes, it is her. Queen Elsa. Our beautiful queen.
Your Majesty, are you all right?
Stop her!
Please, just stay away from me. Stay away!
Monster! Monster!
Elsa! Wait, please! Elsa, stop!
Anna!
No. Whoa, Elsa, you look different. It's a good different. And this place, it's amazing. Thank you.
I never knew what I was capable of.
I'm so sorry about what happened. If I'd have known...
No, it's okay. You don't have to apologize. But you should probably go. Please.
But I just got here.
You belong down in Arendelle.
So do you.
No, Anna, I belong here. Alone. Where I can be who I am without hurting anybody.
Actually, about that,
Wait, what is that?
Hi, I'm Olaf and I like warm hugs.
Olaf?
You built me. Remember that?
And you're alive?
Yeah, I think so.
he's just like the one we built as kids.
Yeah.
So we were so close. We can be like that again.
No, we can't. Goodbye, Anna.
Elsa, wait.
No, I'm just trying to protect you.
You don't have to protect me. I'm not afraid. Please don't shut me out again. Please don't slam the door. You don't have to keep your distance anymore. 'Cause for the
first time in forever, I finally understand. For the first time in forever, we can fix this hand in hand. We can head down this mountain together. You don't have to live in fear. 'Cause for the first time in forever, I will be right here.
Hey everyone, I wanted to give a special shout out to our collaborator, Two Nerds Candle Company. Not only do they have great products, but they are also giving back to a great cause. You can tell that they take a lot of pride in making their candles. My favorite is Spock's Monday Coffee. They are also donating 10% annually to support Women in STEM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. You can use our code DSP or go to our link tree to get 20% off your entire order. We think that this company is great, and we think you will too. So go check them out. And we back again.
Hey, we're back and we're live. Just as live
Yes,
as icicles that shoot out your hands. Doesn't make any sense.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm thinking of Homeboy. What's his name from My Hero Academia?
Oh, yeah.
Shotaro?
I forgot his name.
Shotaro?
Sure.
Yeah. Shotaro
Maybe.
Kujo?
Yeah.
Oh,
Shotaro.
I think so. Fire and Ice. All right.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Full autistic moment. Into the show.
Dr. Gilly Kahn. Nice to have you on the show. So you do a lot of things with ADHD. How did you kind of get down that road? How did you get down that path with working with ADHD folks?
Um, I think it was somewhat accidental, but meant to be. I think a lot of times we just kind of, sort of like how we end up in our group of friends, right? Like similarity breeds constancy, and like you're drawn to people who are similar to you, and those relationships end up being maintained and they become just solid. And so I initially was really interested. I started out with this interest in anxiety and depression in teens. And I was also really interested in relationships, in children's friendships, social skills, especially the kids who were withdrawn,
Yeah.
who would kind of stand to the side. And I looked at different kinds of withdrawal, more like the passive type, where they were just like chilling on the side and totally fine and like not interested in interacting, versus the more shy kids who were anxious and hovering and like they wanted to interact, but anxiety was really just stopping them. And then while I was in college and studying psychology, I did a summer job at a school for autistic kids.
No.
And that's what really got me into neurodiversity. And I had not been diagnosed with ADHD yet, though I had thought about it. Like I thought maybe I have ADHD, but at the time it was so poorly understood in females, even though we were taught about different presentations in like sex assigned at birth, males versus females. It just it was just skewed, and we can get more into the details of that.
Yeah.
But I think because of that, I was skeptical and I wasn't sure, and I didn't really know where to turn or if anyone would believe me. But I was really drawn to these kids.
Yeah.
And there was just something really, I mean, unique, obviously, but also just very lovable about them. And it was just fun. And I thought they were very interesting. Like the things that interested them, I understood why they were so gravitated, toward those things, because I thought I could see why they thought they were cool. And it was just an experiment that really stuck with me, an experience that really stuck with me. And yeah, so that's basically my introduction to neurodiversity, aside from being undiagnosed ADHD. And since then, I did some work For example, when I was in graduate school, I started writing papers on theory of mind and autism and like friendship and relationships. And I looked at a lot of my research was about social cognition. So the way that people think about social interactions and different friendship networks. And I usually would put like on my preference for clients when I started practicing the autistic teens with anxiety or depression. And it just kind of stayed that for a while. And I ended up in a lot of kind of practicum sites and just with a lot of all the clients usually who were neurodivergent would come to me wherever I went. They just somehow, you know, it was just like, oh, they're all going to want to go to Gilly. And, you know, then when I finally made my ADHD official and I really learned a lot about ADHD in women recently, really just kind of self-teaching, it really clicked. And I thought about, I think this has happened to a lot of women with ADHD. We think about our past and we're just like, oh, that makes sense.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever think like before you even had the diagnosis, did you ever think like you were different at all? Was that something that popped into your head a lot? Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. And it was, in a sense, it's, you know, everyone is different. It's like if you've met one autistic person, you've met one autistic person. If you've met one person with ADHD, you met one. But I think a lot of my memories are stereotypical in terms of women who have gone undiagnosed. I have this one memory of it takes like a lot of energy for me to be like alive, you know, like this. And if you're working with really little kids, which is why I don't really work with 3-year-olds, it's more like the parents, like coaching the parents if I'm ever doing that, because it just takes all of the energy out of me. And so I started working with kids at a very young age. At 14, 15, I was a CIT at a camp. And I remember I loved the job. I was so happy when I was there. But one of my bosses, she came up to me and she said, Gilly, are you happy? Like, are you happy to be here? And I said, yeah. And I was completely caught off guard and confused. And she said, you always look like you're upset. So like my facial expressions and just my mannerisms, and they just did not match what I was actually feeling. And it was just, you know, it was an issue that I had for a while. And then over time, I kind of learned how to mask that. But also, it's not perfect. And then there are times where it's like I can't really hide how I'm feeling, and that has gotten me in trouble.
Preach.
Where yeah, it's like whatever I think, it just it comes out. And people can sense that. And in my family, when I was younger, you know, it was like I kind of gained the reputation more on my husband's side of the family that like, you know, if Gilly compliments you, she really means it. It's a real compliment.
You know where you stand with Dr. Gilly.
Yeah.
You know.
It's something super easy too. It's like, I'm glad you're alive. Walks away. It's like, Jesus.
Oh my God, I almost fell backwards.
Am I?
From the laugh or just you sit weird in the chair? No, it's the chair.
The chair's fault.
Yeah.
Damn, so close.
Almost blew you off your chair, girl. When she, oh my God, I already forgot it. Literally, I was visualizing it. She was saying something about, whatever.
You've lost it.
It's so bullshit.
Okay, cool.
I had it and it was a good visual representation because I made a funny, like I was cracking up in my head, like, yup. Oh, it's when she says people think that she hates them or like it's something really intrusive that you want to say. Literally, Anakin, I hate them. It's a Star Wars thing.
Good Star Wars reference there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. It just comes up like every other podcast, the same quote. We need to split that into one of the reels. Just me just screaming, I hate you.
Oh, we will.
So continue. So your presentation, some people were like, I don't know, she's stoic. might be more reserved. It takes a lot out of you to code switch and to like kind of assimilate. I had a question. Now, does that ever affect you with your clients? Because it seems like you're in simpatico with them, but like sometimes, even with my facial expressions, I'm like, I'll be listening to a kid's like story or trauma story, and I'll just be dead eyeing them. I'm like, oh, I should move my face. That's sad. Straight up, like I'll be like, oh, I should do something with my face. And I'm like,
My face.
what am I supposed to do? Like, I can't do it right now because I'm laughing.
Yeah.
I don't. All my faces are terrible. I make a face to like pervert.
Honestly, I think that's why, as a therapist, I feel like I am, but that's what I think. I think I'm a good fit for these kids.
Yeah.
Because there's no BS.
Facts.
Like completely transparent. It's a safe space, just be yourself, and there's no judgment. And I'm gonna do the same.
Yep. Facts. I love saying that. I like to tease some of my clients, and I swear to God, one day I'm getting reported to HR. But I'd be like, it's a safe space. You can say whatever you want. They'll say something. I'm like, I got you. I knew you were a little bigot.
I knew it. Okay.
I knew you were murdering animals.
Oh my.
It's the
All
funniest.
right, let's stop here. Enough. It's gotten too intense for me. Like a mental image of murdering animals, and there's this adorable panda that looks like he's injured on his knee.
No, he's just hanging out. He's smiling. It's me. I was thinking of the one image is my students would be like, hey man, because I work with college age students, and so they'll be like, yo, are you gonna report this? I say I can't report anything. Like, oh yeah, no, I saw smoke daily, and I'm like, oh shit, let me call the police, and they'll be like, what? I can't obviously report anything, and I'm not going to, but sometimes it's fun to tease people when I say safe space. I'm a terrible person. With kids, I don't think I could do this with kids because kids are conceptual. They probably deregulate. If you were to tease, do you ever tease the younger kids? Like on just little small things here and there or joke around, or do you keep it more straightforward?
It depends. Every kid is different.
Yep.
There are some, especially teens, where they think it's funny, and also it helps them like cognitively.
Yep.
Like for example, I worked with, for example, I'm trying to think of like a more general thing, but like I've worked with teens where, and this is so common, they're self-critical, right? And they're just like, oh, I did this performance and I sucked, or like it was so obvious. And so I would just be like, so did the crowd laugh?
Yeah.
In a sarcastic way, okay, were you booed off the stage?
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Like, so, I mean, I guess they get to know me, and they're just like, okay, she's doing this thing, like to help me realize that I'm being ridiculous right now with whatever I'm saying. Kind of like, what's the evidence, right? That you were horrible. And then also, like, was it really that bad? Okay, fine. Like they were throwing bananas at you. Like,
facts.
Like, yeah, I'm sure it wasn't that bad. And then also, even if it was that bad, okay, yeah. So like it's Armageddon now.
The world's over. It's over.
Done.
Exactly.
We need damn, who's the actor? Oh man, homeboy, he's got that bad Alzheimer's in Armageddon. Bruce
Willis?
Bruce Willis. We need Bruce Willis to save us if it's Armageddon. He's the only one who can do it.
Yeah.
He's the
But then I have clients also who don't really pick up on sarcasm. I guess kind of like you asked before.
Yep.
And I'll spell it out for them. Like I just tell them like immediately after, I'm like, sarcasm.
Facts. I'll literally me and Spencer do it, I'll be like, that's a joke.
Yeah.
And then they'll like laugh. I'm like, are you laughing with me or because you think I need it as a person? They're like, no, I'm laughing because I think you need it. And I'm asking. It's like, God damn it. Only laugh when you think it's funny.
Yeah.
Hey,
hilarious.
Stuff gets past me all the time, man. People were saying some stuff to me in the office the other day. I was like, oh my God. They're like, nah, that's a joke. Oh, okay. All right.
You do it too.
I know.
Sometimes you're just like, hey man, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, are you for real? Like, no. I'm like,
No,
oh,
I
okay,
know.
cool.
I do it.
Thank you.
I'm guilty.
Appreciate that.
So you working with this population, do you think this will be your forever population? Many of us feel like when we find our place, we're like, why would I ever leave this? This is home. I assume that's the kind of the same vibe.
Oh, 100%.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I've never left this population. They find me. Yeah,
There you
but
go.
also I love it. I don't know. It's my favorite group to work with. But we'll see. I think as I get older, and I was thinking about this actually the other day in the car when I was driving. I was like, okay, so like I needed to find a referral for an older adult.
Mm.
And so I was asking around, and it's really hard to find a therapist who specializes in older adults.
Yep.
Like ridiculous. And then I thought about it further, and I was like, well, it makes sense because we're most comfortable with what we've experienced.
Yep.
So, when you're a mom, you feel comfortable working with parents before you're a mom, yes, you still feel comfortable working with parents, but it's not the same. Like you don't have lived experience and, it takes a while to become an older adult, it takes years.
Mhm.
So, I wonder if most of the clinicians who specialize in that area are older adults and they just,
Yeah.
have a lot of experience and then they start to see more people in that group. But anyway, what I was getting to was as I get older and I gain more experiences, then I probably will see more of a diverse age range.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spence, I'll kick it back to you. Yeah, thank you for that. That makes sense to me.
Yeah. So I see that you did a blog where you said that you took a hiatus from being online for about 7 years, right? What kind of led to that? What led to you
Mm.
just not being on social media anymore, just completely getting rid of it?
It's literally what I wrote in the blog.
Yeah.
It was like I logged onto Facebook one day, and one thing is, it's still true, but I have to be on social media now, just with my writing,
Mhm.
for anyone to read it, but also it's for people with ADHD. It's really obviously we're impulsive, but also it's really hard to resist the temptations of the internet. You know what I mean? Like they're addicting for a reason.
Yeah.
It's hard not to get glued to them, and I would often like look through them. And when I was next to my daughter at the time, who was a baby, and she would be lying on her mat, and I would think I should be paying more attention to her
Mhm.
than to my phone.
Facts.
And there was also the controversy of, do you post pictures of your kids? Like,
Yep.
it was like, I like to be open about my life and not have to mask, right? I like no filter.
Yeah.
But then also this, the social media requires an additional filter, both, literally and metaphorically.
I would agree.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it just made my life more challenging, I thought, than it needed to be. And I wanted to be more present in my graduate studies. So I just said, F it. One day I was on Facebook and I posted a picture of me and my husband. I think it was during like an anniversary or something. And I posted like a really loving message. And I got like, I don't know, 30 something likes or whatever, like a few likes. And I just thought, like, I felt bad
Yep.
because I was like, why aren't more people happy for me?
Yep.
And then I thought, why am I judging myself based on this?
Yep.
And that second, I went and I deleted everything.
Yep.
And it stayed like that for years
Yeah.
until, actually September, this past
Yeah.
September.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that at all. See, Spencer's the one that sleuths. He finds all the stuff. He goes and learns your whole identity. Like, I mean, I asked him a question like, what'd they do when they were 17? And Spencer's like, well, you know,
on which day?
which day? I did not know that. So you recently been back. I think I've been friends with you for at least, it'll show us if I look on Instagram, for at least a couple months now. I'm not sure if I just randomly saw one of your posts and I added it, or was it like a friend sent me one of your posts, but it's all ADHD neurodivergent stuff. So I feel like that's the content that they feed us on our page. I love how the internet can connect us. But also, bro, that like thing or views, if you don't get the like or views on it, like it's like devastating. I'm gonna lie.
Rejection sensitive dysphoria is real.
Bro.
And it's, you know, I mean, I'm writing my chapter right now in my book about dopamine and just an addiction, addictive behavior. And it's irresistible. And I don't like not feeling in control.
Facts.
Yeah. And so, and talking about your book, I mean, when's it coming out for our viewers that may not know? When's it coming out? What is it about?
So, funnily enough, it's called Allow Me to Interrupt.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah, that's a good title. That's a good title.
Yeah. And it's about the emotional component of ADHD in women, which we will apply to Frozen. The scene where she, you know, loses it, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be available at major book retailers like Barnes and Noble and like all that jazz in 2026-ish. My full draft of the book is due to the publisher in November.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yep.
Coming up.
Yeah, it's really.
Yeah, I'm like that.
Okay. So yeah, we got some stuff.
No pressure at all there.
No pressure at all. You know.
For me, it's more like I feel like as time goes on, I rethink and I'm like, I need to take a step back and change this. And that's the hard part.
Yeah.
True. And so with your ADHD, I mean, like how do you kind of do, how do you, as an author with ADHD, how do you do like a whole book? I mean, I love a book from Kevin Garnett. It's called KG A to Z, where he just does the whole alphabet and he does every part of his life and he does a letter. He does a part of his life.
I love
Which is
that.
pretty cool. You're like, maybe
That's
redo the book.
awesome. No. I mean, really, I think it's like music, right? I mean, you derive inspiration from the things that are really, really good. And that's why I feel like I pick up another book, or I'll stop and I listen to this podcast. I want to get what's fresh and new and the most like enticing.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. All right. So see.
Yeah, but how do you deal with that? Like he said, the question, like being ADHD, but not just you writing your book, but also, you know, being in the world, doing your thing. I think you said, right, you got kids. You're also a psychologist. You're doing all this other stuff. And like somehow you got to fit a book in there. And we know with a lot of folks with ADHD, it's not always being distracted, but also it's being hyper focused on one thing. Also, sometimes we don't have the activation energy to start a new thing or new chapter because it's like terrifying or too long or so. How in the hell do you cope or manage or stay structured enough? Is it support? Is it where you got tagged? What do you do? What's the pill? Can I take the drug and what is it?
You can take the chill pill. It's behind you.
There you go.
That's what you need, a chill pill.
I take 2 every day, and they're butt pills.
Oh.
Sorry. I'm sorry. She's
These are the
busy.
kind of comments you warned me about.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You have hyperphantasia, don't you?
What's that?
Where you're very visual and you see all the images.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So based on your last comment, I apologize for the last comment. And then that one, anyone that's hyperphantasia, some of my words need to be dulled down because I know you're going to visualize the image. And so that's a new thing that you have. And I didn't think that you really might have known, but you might have. And you've had that. So some of our brains that are ADHD, they can go into this daydream.
My mind is blown. not believe this.
So
Yeah.
we'll refer you to a podcast that comes out that we just did with an awesome autistic author. And it's a children's book and it's magnificent. And she talks all about it, but it's pretty much is those deep visualizations. And it could lead to some obsessiveness and like visualization, like social interactions, job interviews, but also it could lead you to visualizing like the death of a parent. Like I've done it for like eulogies. It can lead into a lot of things that people think are OCD or anxiety, but it's actually some of our autistic minds doing this hyperphantasic like spin. And also sometimes we like to like, we'll have like these awesome visuals, like how we're dating fucking Prince Charming. What was the guy's name from the last podcast? Sebastian?
Sebastian. Yes. The
Yeah.
crab.
Not the crab, you jackass. The white guy.
Sebastian Stan. Yeah.
Sebastian Stan.
The guy.
Yeah, the guy. Hey. He wasn't as gorgeous in that old show as he is now. Beside the point.
What movie is that? Sebastian.
It was Black Swan. We just
The
did.
Black Swan.
We just
Yeah.
did Black Swan. Yep. And he was in there for like
That was
little
actually an option. Yes. When I was thinking through, what movies?
Yep.
And my husband was like, what about this one? I was like, that one's so obviously psychological. And he was like, what about Black Swan? And I was like, that's also obviously psychological. I was like, let's pick something a little bit more left field.
Yeah. This is awesome. We got it. But yeah, hyperphantasia. I'll have you Google that and check that out later. So what are we talking about? We're talking about medicine pills. Oh yeah. How do you?
How do I write my book?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Medicine pills that I put in my butt. No, I'm just kidding.
There it is. There it is.
All right. I can play along.
Of course.
Yeah. No. Oh, now I have that image.
You did it to yourself.
You did it to yourself.
Literally.
I have to okay, I'm gonna stop talking now.
Turtles.
So writing a book. Okay. So basically, I think, I think the best thing you could do for yourself as someone with ADHD is learn how to help yourself and learn what works best for yourself. So in the beginning, I was deciding self-publish or traditional publish.
Okay.
And I know myself. I need people who are on top of me, like giving me deadlines and checking in with me and supporting me when it's hard and making it feel competitive.
Makes sense.
So I just knew if it was self-publishing, I wouldn't thrive.
Nope.
It wouldn't be a success for me. And so I had to go, I decided I'm going to do traditional publishing, where, I first of all needed to get an agent. I needed to get a publisher. I needed to think through the idea for my book there are clear steps. It's not this mess where I'm independent and need to figure things out. And, I remember talking to a few people and they said, oh, self-publishing is so easy though. You just hire this person and then you hire this person. And I was like, so I need to find these people, right? I need to pay them with money that I don't have. That I stupidly spend on other stuff.
Hey.
Like, it's just not a good setup, for someone with ADHD. So that's number one. And then number two, I wrote I think there are things that I've done in my life that have kind of trained me to get to this point. I wrote a dissertation, I wrote a master's thesis. My dissertation was over 100 pages long. So it's like, that was like a step in the direction of a book. And dissertation takes a lot of research and, it's like I have a good sense of the, the dance that goes into writing a book. You have to read, you have to take notes, and then you go back into writing. And it's just a lot of flip-flopping, which is sometimes a good thing for someone with ADHD.
Spence, did you have a question, another one? Because if not, I had a specific one.
No, all you.
So we're going to get into some of the women and how they present different when it comes to you based on gender. But specifically, do you have like a warm up or like a routine in what you do to get yourself into the groove of doing a task? Like, do you need to clean the room real quick? Do you need to drink some coffee before you write? Or like, I'm thinking also my students that do homework or math or. So you got your coffee, right? Was that Tinkerbell?
Yeah.
I thought so. Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
So
it's pixie magic.
There you go.
You can fly soon. You can fly
Yep.
if you believe.
If you, so yeah, what's that kind of warm up? Because a lot of my autistic and neurodivergent ADHD clients, we're working on how do we get the structure and format? How do we get into that motion? How do we curate what we call Uncle momentum? We need momentum to do things. We can't just be like, I'm working now.
Yes.
And so what is your format? And maybe others can get a healing from that. Or what do you suggest other people try?
Yeah. So right now I am sitting like this.
Oh, you disappeared. Oh, you're in a ball.
Knees.
Yep.
Knees.
Yeah.
Knees to chest. All right.
Yeah. Yes. And like my feet are pressed against the chair. It's like the sensory input that I just really need. Or I'll sit like, you know, with my feet up on something pressing and then like against a window. So I have that like sunlight, and then, you know, if I get tired, I like look out the window and it just makes me happy. But you know, you kind of find your place where, you know, you feel good. I have my noise canceling headphones right here. And this is a standing desk.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, you know, find whatever gadgets help you. And then, yeah, I make myself a coffee, take my stimulant meds like an hour before.
Yeah.
And I usually start slow. Like I'll tell myself, okay, I'm going to do email.
Okay.
You know,
There we go.
laptop, my emails, and then kind of decide like what the priority is for the day. And then I just open it up, and I like using the Pomodoro method. So I'll do like 25 minutes, you know, whatever it is, and then a 5-minute break, and then another 25 minutes. And a lot of just self-compassion, you know, like there are days where with ADHD, it's going to be on or off. Like it's hit or miss. And so there are days where I just can't write. I can't, it's going to come out bad, you know, like it's just not going to come out the way I want it to. It just feels forced. So I end up just, you know, listening to an audiobook and taking notes instead, because that takes
Productive.
less creativity.
Yep.
Yeah. So I've got something on paper that I can go back to when I am in the mood to write, or when my mind is functioning well.
There you go.
Yeah. Did you always kind of have that forgiveness for yourself, or was that something you kind of learned throughout your whole life?
Good question.
I think it's something I had to learn. Yeah. I don't know. I think with these things, it's like, you think, especially as women, you know, I was just thinking about this, and, you know, okay, sorry, you guys are two guys, but I was, you know, I had an OBGYN appointment. Hey, I'm a mom. I don't really care anymore, but I
talk about this stuff all the time with clients. You're fine. You're good.
I know,
all
right?
the time. We're good.
Hormonal issues. Oh, you did the postpartum.
Yeah, we just did postpartum. Yep. Yep.
Yes. Okay, good. This is a good transition. But anyway, you know, we were talking about hormones, and I was just asking her, you know, well, I'm mid-30s, like I'm gonna make my way toward like my 40s. You know, I have a history of hormonal like irregularities and PCOS.
Yeah. Okay.
And that has affected my mood tremendously, my attention, and all of that just goes hand in hand with ADHD and migraine and depression. And so she said to me, well, you know, if you want to figure out kind of like a different treatment, or in terms of like, you know, switching birth controls, or starting, you know, potentially like HRT, then, you know, you may want to consider getting off your birth control. And my heart just dropped. And I was like, no. And I wanted to cry. I was like, there's no way in hell. Like, I'm not, because it would be horrible, horrible. And it's such a sad thing to think about, because it's sort of like telling, you know, someone with ADHD, like, just don't take your stimulant meds. And that would also be horrible for me, but this was a step above that. But anyway, so what I was trying to say was that I think it's hard to remember, but when you really think about it, like those times are really, really hard. They're really hard because I think you don't like other people don't understand you, but you also don't understand yourself.
True. Gee, I mean, that's like autism 101 right there. That's like depression. Everyone that struggles, we all have, no, not every human. You always get weirded out that people don't understand you, or you get angry or mad at society, but then fuck, you don't even understand yourself. So how is your friend or partner supposed to understand you? And my clients will get mad at their friends. And I'm like, but homie, chill. Like, we don't even know ourselves. And so how can you even advocate for your identities when we don't know who they are? And you say that it's perfectionism and straight A's, but it's not, that's not it. That's just one subsection of your identity is academic.
Right.
And so, yeah, you're right. It can lead into a lot of stuff. What you were talking about too is change. And like, it's terrifying when I've got my cisgendered women going to get like hormone treatment or just birth control, and you're switching from one to the other. It can mess with so many different things, cause more of the symptoms and side effects, getting off of it, getting on a new one. Maybe they're going to put an anxiety med on it too. Like, it's just so much, and it's terrifying. Some of the doctors, I'm going to be real with you, they treat my women like shit. And if there's a woman of color, they really get treated like shit. Statistically, we know this is factual. But you don't really believe it until you start getting the clients that are my women that are going in there and they're like, doc, this is how I'm feeling. Doc's like, nah. Right. Especially if it's a dude, doc's like, nah, that's not it.
Yeah.
And then my girls are like, no, something's wrong with my innards. They hurt.
Like, they want to be right. But women are very intuitive. Like, I think, it's like, once we've been around for a while, like, we really know ourselves. Like, we have very good, I think, social intuition, which is why so many neurodivergent women fly under the radar, because, our brain is just manufactured that way. Like, we, I think we develop this understanding of ourselves. It takes time. But when we're going to a doctor and we're saying, here's what I think is going on, I think more often than not, we're right.
Yep. I'm telling you, my clients know what their body feels like. And they're like, no. And then this is how it ended. My client's like, something's wrong. Like a month later, they go in to finally get an x-ray or like a MRI, massive cyst in their stomach. And like, oh, this is what was wrong with you the whole time. And she's like, we could have dealt with this months ago. But you kept telling me nothing was wrong. Or my client with POTS. Like, oh, it's not POTS. It's not POTS. Me and my client are like, this is POTS. And
there's nothing more frustrating too when professionals are telling you it's not this and it is.
Yep. It's wild.
Get it.
Wow. Well, where are we at now, Spence?
Let's go into the scenes. Frozen. Let it go. So, all right. First scene that we watched, it's where Elsa is going off, right? Just going off, but not intentionally, right? Not intentionally. She has these powers, obviously, that can freeze everything around her. And Anna brings up the fact, like, hey, I want to marry this guy. I want to marry him. And Elsa's like, no, I don't approve of this. This is not going to happen. And then after that, she storms off and she starts getting more frustrated. And then she uses her powers, but then everyone's looking at her like she is a monster, like she is like the evil, like witch or whatever, right? So Dr. Gilly, why'd you pick this scene for the show?
Okay, to highlight the emotional dysregulation component of ADHD. Yeah. It's funny because I thought about Elsa and her powers and, just her behavior in the story in line with ADHD in girls. But then when I rewatched it, I was like, holy moly, like Anna has it too. Like, even more than Elsa. Or like for Anna, it's less masked.
Okay.
For Elsa, it's like totally suppressed, which is why it comes out like that, and why she doesn't know how to use her powers in a helpful way, because she hasn't given herself the opportunity to learn.
Correct.
Yeah.
How would you go about helping someone like that with her family history, possibly taken over as being like the next in line, the queen. And she has to perform and be like this perfect individual, but she hides herself with the glove and clothing. Everything's perfect about her. And she has this traumatic past where she's hurt her sister. How would you recommend someone like this slowly come out of the shell or embrace the other parts of themselves that could be deemed wrong, mutant, disabled? How would you advise someone like this to therapeutically help someone like this get to the next step? Or to help them emotionally regulate? How would you even do that?
Right. I mean, the first step would be to, I guess, process any thoughts related to the trauma. Because before you can move into starting to treat, the behaviors themselves, you need to get to the core of why they're even surfacing. And I think, with ADHD, it's genetic. So if we were to say like, oh, what if, ADHD ran in Elsa and Anna's family, trauma can also exacerbate the symptoms, or in a sense, like turn on like the trait, right? So it's like if you have the gene, then certain stressful experiences can turn on those genes and they become like manifest and more obvious. So yeah, but then, I think diagnosis is a big part of the therapeutic piece. And so whenever I have a hunch or I am pretty certain that a teen or a child is autistic or ADHD, I usually give it like maybe 3 sessions, and then I sit with the parents and I talk to them.
Yep. Makes sense.
Yeah, pretty soon after. It's like I want to be, sure, and see the kid a few times. And then I sit with the parent and I say, here's what I think is going on. And, I think it's always helpful to get a second opinion. So, either going to a psychiatrist or to get testing, depending on what, their specific needs are. But I like having like another professional setting eyes on them. And they don't always agree with me. And that's fine. But then I continue seeing the person. And if I still think they are neurodivergent, then I keep stressing to the parents. Like, I still think that. And, we can decide what to do with that information. When they're older, I tell them, like, if they're teens, if the parents don't like it, then sorry, bye. But like, I will tell them, like, I think you might have ADHD. And I say to them, and I'm telling you this now, because as you get older, you're going to learn more and more about yourself. And I just want this to be in your head, just in case it clicks, and it helps you in some way. I don't want you to go through life with no one telling you.
Facts. People don't do that sometimes. So the diagnosis is a big part. Understand the origins and where it comes from. I think it also really heal, because sometimes it is just straight up genetic, the disorder or whatever's going on. And you're like, okay, so how do we have some self-compassion? Like, this isn't a human flaw. This isn't your character flaw. This isn't you being lazy. This isn't, you're always going to, there's some stuff that's actually genetically going on that's leading to this. You have no control over this. And you do have some. So like my clients that are bipolar, I mean, that's a lot of self-hatred in it with the ebbs and the flows, right? Of the manic and depressive. Okay.
That's tough.
Oh yeah. It's all tough, but that one's a real tough one too.
Yes. Yes.
Yep. So, this scene, there's a couple points that I wanted to point out is, she deregulates, but she's trying to push her sister away, right? She's trying to push her away. She's like, you don't, and she's like, why you keep isolating? And she can't fully tell her, right, her demon. She wants to, but she also doesn't want to burden her sister. And there's a lot with a lot of siblings, or just a lot of women in general, that, I'm an isolate. I got it. I'm a self-contained. I've got it. I've been trained. The boys can go get their help, but a lot of my girls are like autonomous. And I didn't even realize that was a thing just in general. Doesn't matter what gender. I was at this conference and my boss was like, you just randomly will leave the whole group and just walk around by yourself. And like, we don't even know where you're at. I'm a grown ass 350-pound man. Like, I don't need you to watch me. Like,
Oh my God, I'm the same way.
and she was like, she's like, well, I can tell that your ma, because she knew about my mom. My mom had just recently passed at that time. She knows that it was a bad relationship. And like, I can tell you spent a lot of time alone because you're so autonomous. I was like, I don't know if it's because of that. It could be. I mean, and I realized how different I was.
Yeah.
And so Elsa, I don't like to burden people too. And so she's pushing her away. She starts to deregulate. But when you keep pushing someone and pushing someone and pushing someone, me and Spence will pop. You want it? Oh, now you got it. And now you're going to get the full rage. And I told you not to fuck with me, but you kept pushing me.
Exactly.
Okay. What's my dad say? Say hello to the bad guy.
Google me.
Google me. So, sometimes we can only take it and push so far. And then I get overstimulated and pop.
Yes.
So we see that with her, but she doesn't want to hurt anyone, but she screams and then she may hurt someone. And then now everyone looks at her like she's a freak.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about this a lot with identities on this podcast of being autistic, being a woman of color, being a large dude like me. People are like, dude's got a lot of privilege. I'm like, yes, we do. And when you're a large brown dude, now you have to feminize yourself so much because everyone's scared. If I raise my voice, now they're scared. Now they see me as a thug. Now they see me as a drug dealer. I've been called a drug dealer by a parent because I let one of my autistic children play Pokemon while talking to me. I'm like, would you have called this white lady a drug dealer? Besides the point. He's a fantastic kid, even though he's bipolar as shit and threw shit at me.
I don't know. I'm very confused by that.
Oh, it was wild. I was like, you call me a drug dealer right now? I looked at my boss and she's like, don't do it, Nas. Don't do it. I'm like, oh, this white woman. I swear to God. I swear. I need this job.
The hardest drug of them all.
Pokemon.
No, she needed to take a chill pill.
She needed something. She needed a shovel. She needed a shovel. And so you see people that will call us when we freak out or destabilize. They'll look at you different. I've had people look at me different after I get mad and angry because they're like, oh, I knew you were one of them.
Yes.
Oh, I knew you were a monster. I knew you were a bitch. I knew you were crazy. I knew you were derogatory. I knew you were this, right? They always want to say something horrible to you. And I'm like, well, you antagonized me to get to this point.
Right.
But now you blaming me for biting you when you were the one that was cutting me. And so I like to bring this up because it's very hard to emotionally regulate for a lot of my clients, especially if they have a trauma history, especially if they have hyperphantasia, right? And they're visualizing, they're seeing things. Stuff can get scary very fast. But now everyone calls her the monster. And I've never felt more seen in a video than that is they look at you. And I'm telling you, I've seen it in clients, I've seen it in professors. Me and Spencer have talked about it on the podcast. You see the disgust in people's face. And then later on, after I get educated, my emotions are regulated. I'm not a depressed little kid anymore. Like, oh my God, look how smart you are. I was like, I was always smart. Right. I was always smart. You just, I was going through stuff. And then she runs away because she doesn't want to hurt anyone. To me, that was empathetic. To me, that was her caring for everyone else because she doesn't want to hurt them. People will see that maybe it's narcissistic or maybe she's selfish. I can see a lot of people saying, women, oh, you're selfish. All right. You don't want to hurt anyone. That's empathy.
No.
Go ahead.
I heard that too. You're selfish. Yeah, no, everything you're saying is just spot on. I said the same thing while I was watching that scene with my daughter yesterday when I was rewatching the movie. I was like, she's overwhelmed. Like it's sensory overload for her right now. And people are in her face and she just needs to be alone. And it's so common, for me and the neurodivergent teens who I work with. Like one of the main things we talk about in therapy is, they have family events and during the holidays and, what do you do in those situations when you feel overwhelmed? And for actually a lot of the teenage females, like when they are, it's the holidays, there's the lights and the noise and it's just sensory overload. And then that leads to headaches.
Yep. Headaches, it leads to frustration. It leads to irritability. It could lead to isolation, which then comes off as all these derogatory things. And the family's like, why don't you love us? What? I gave you a good 5 minutes and you fuckers wouldn't shut the hell up. So, you know, I gave you 3 shots of tequila. After y'all took the 4th, you drunken idiots, I'm gone.
And they're passed out. Yeah, time to go.
And you're like stuck there. Like you can't, you can't leave, because if you leave, you're seen as rude. Or, and then it's like, how do you leave? Like if you say you're leaving and you announce that you're leaving, then
Want attention.
people will be right. You're pointing attention to yourself leaving. But then if you disappear, people get mad too, because then they're like, well, where's Gilly? I went to chill out. I went to take a chill pill so I could be a better version of me around you.
So how do you deal with it then? You personally, how do you deal with that when you have like you're just feel overwhelmed with family and things like that, and you're just like, what do you do?
Yeah, honestly, it depends who I'm with. Like there are some, it's a cultural thing too, like
Right.
there's the cultural piece, and my family is Israeli, and I feel like that just aligns very well with neurodiversity. We're very blunt. There's no BS. In Hebrew, there's a word, it's tachlis. It's like, get to the point.
Oh.
No fluff, please. Just what's the point? And so, when I'm with my dad and like that side of the family, I can do whatever the hell I want. No one cares, I could say what I want. I just feel so comfortable. If I'm tired, I can go to another room. No one's going to complain or criticize me. I can go in and out as I choose. But when I'm with Americans, different story. There's judgment, and I feel very nervous all the time. And it's hard. So, I'll do what I recommend to clients. I'll go to the bathroom to try to relax, or I'll try to sit kind of like in a shady spot. Like if, everyone's outside. Sometimes I will, I don't take like long phone breaks, but sometimes I'll just kind of sit on a chair and take like just 5 minutes, on my phone as if I'm texting or whatever, but really it's just to zone in like on one thing. And be quiet, like not have to maneuver my face. I don't know how to say it. Like it's so much work.
I don't know why I keep going right to the Robert De Niro face.
I don't either. You're just
Is that the only face I have?
I want to sit and like rest my face.
I'm the only one here. I'm the only one you talked to.
Huh? How you doing?
Robbie D. There he is.
I love that face.
And then it's like, as I'm saying these things, I'm like, is this odd? Like there's always that self-critique, is this odd? Is this, does this come off the wrong way? Like, am I sounding like I don't know, like a pariah or like an outcast? Like, I don't know.
Spence, I was playing basketball the other day at the gym, and there's a lot of echoes at my gym because I don't know how to explain. It's just really encapsulated, this little small court.
Yeah.
And these two, I don't know, they're white boys. These 2 white boys were just, the one was berating his friend, like demeaning him, yelling at him, swearing at him. I'm like, and I looked at some of the homies on the other side, these black dudes, and I said, hey man, them boys okay? Like because I'm shooting around by these 2 white dudes. And I'm like, let me go stand over here to make sure like I'm not going to get hurt. And I'm the biggest boy in the gym. And he's like, it was funny. He's like, you know how it is, us brothers. And I'm like, I'm not black, but chill. But he's like, you know. And he's like, yeah, man, they crazy, man. But don't mind them. They're best friends. I was like, okay. So I kept shooting around over by these boys.
Right.
Eventually, I was like getting ready to cuss one of them out. Man, you need to shut the fuck up. The shit that you're saying is inappropriate and it's demeaning and it's embarrassing to him. And I don't get embarrassed. But with the echo, I was so overstimulated, I had to stop playing shooting around. Yeah. And I've been meaning, and now I avoid these 2 boys in the gym because they're so fucking loud. And annoying. And I'm like, there's no way. It's crazy that I have to avoid people to make sure that I can stay regulated, but I should be able to regulate myself. But when people were being demeaning, I think not only was I overstimulated, but now I'm protective. I don't even know this guy. Dude, Spence, you wouldn't have liked it. It was horrible. I'm like, you can't be cussing someone out, calling them horrible profane names. So I left, and right now I just avoid them.
Yeah. Also, I think it's important because I play basketball as well. It's just so you know, Dr. Gilly, play basketball. I I I think even today I play basketball, and don't get me wrong, like some of my teammates do things that it really pisses me off
Yep,
sometimes.
I've seen you.
But at the same time, I'm not going to cuss them out. Now, I may give them a look or say something snarky, but at the same time, I'm not going to just like cuss them out because you're not going to make every shot. That's just not how it is, and you're not going to be perfect. We're not playing in the NBA.
Yep.
We're literally just playing for fun. And so, if I bring my shit into it and I make it not fun anymore, then they're not having fun, and then it ruins the whole vibe of the whole thing. So what's the point? And yeah, I don't mess with people who just curse people out just
It's
for
bad.
that because it's not bad. It's
Don't
not
get it
good.
twisted. I love being angry and scaring the hell out of people because it makes you feel powerful. And like people look at me and they're like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "Yeah." Remember when we walk out the office, I'm the boss. I like straight up. That's the thing that plays in my mind when like bosses and supervisors, they think that they got something on you.
The boss.
Let's be honest. The society breaks down. You work for me.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'm just saying. When the zombie apocalypse comes, I'm winning these fights.
He's gonna have like
You know what, guys? You know what that guy really needed?
what did he need, Dr. Gilly?
The chill pill. Womp
There it
womp.
is.
Whoop, whoop, or womp womp.
I knew
Womp
it was
womp.
coming. Womp womp.
Hey,
Let me hear a womp womp.
oh my God, that's a whole nother song. Can I get a whoop whoop to all my ladies and my fellas in the
Yeah, that's-
they
Can I
got
get a
none?
whoop?
Can
got
I
that
get a
from?
whoop up? What song is that?
oh my gosh, what is that? Can I get a woo woo?
Can I get a womp womp?
I want to say some intrusive stuff. I'm not gonna go there.
We're gonna move on.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on.
Hey, there's no womp womps over here.
The other thing is there's like, the mental imagery, and then there's the connection with the damn panda in the background that I can't get out of my head. Like whatever you say, I just see this panda and I think about his injured leg.
It's not injured. He's so happy.
He's just
But that's what's so like disturbing about it. Like he looks happy, but also he's covered in all this paint. Like what was that? Like color war? That's happening.
I hate happiness.
Right?
What is this?
We're like talking about Frozen, and it's just like this entire other like analysis.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a small pivot here, Spence. You already know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I know.
I think Dr. Gilly, I think you need to look into some stuff.
Like a Rorschach.
No, I think the clients you identify with, there might be another reason why. You're autistic.
Why?
You're autistic as shit.
He said,
Oh yeah. Oh, you think I am?
think.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense too. I don't know. I see us, I'll tell whenever
No offense. This is with love.
meeting a kid. No, there's
Yeah.
no offense. Are you kidding me? I
Yeah,
don't care.
I'm just letting
But
you
like,
know.
if I'm, what led you from that to autistic though? I'm kind of curious.
Oh no, it was like a million different things and little data points. And I'm looking at Spencer and he looks at me every once in a while. I'm like, and then when you agree with some of the stuff that I say,
Yeah. I was actually on another podcast recently where the host was autistic and he just assumed I was autistic.
Oh.
And I was like, oh no, I'm not autistic. I'm just ADHD. And I could tell like in the way that he responded, I was like, he thinks I'm autistic.
I'm here to tell you, when you showed me your knees, that sounded really weird.
Really?
That sounded really.
That was the tism.
There was some sensory stuff. And I don't obviously want to spend the whole thing about like autism, but the hyperphantasia was a thing too, relating to a couple of different things that I said. Also, we know you said it. You're hanging around a lot of people that are neurodivergent. Well, and you understand that you understood these kids before anyone else did when you were in your practicum. And I was like, holy shit.
I didn't do the things that they did, but I got it.
You can get
like, I understood why they did them.
And no mind does that unless they are neurodivergent, and meaning under that umbrella maybe more spectrumy than what they think. because you can itemize and cognitively get there where other people can't. And like some therapists are like, oh, I get it. Like, do you? Like you're able to help people actually get it. I think that's a really cool thing about being autistic or having lived experiences, being someone of color in the queer community. When you're that therapist and you're helping that person with the same intersection, they don't have to explain it to you. They don't have to explain systemic oppression or racism to me. So I was thinking about you and how you align so much with your clients. And I'm like, homie, plus a few other things. And I say it with the most love and respect. You know that.
No, I don't. Fine. It is what, but the thing is that, you know, and the way I'll explain it to the kids who will come in after testing and they get their autism confirmed or official or whatever.
We call it baptized.
What?
We call it baptized.
Baptized?
Yeah.
Baptism. Yep.
Okay. But if you're Jewish, it's bat mitzvah.
Yeah. We talked about this with a different therapist that was Jewish.
Oh yeah, she said bat mitzvah.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, I'm Jewish, so we don't get baptized. She said that or something else. I don't know what the hell she said. It was funny as hell though.
Circumcised. No.
Okay, not that. Not that.
The breast.
Oh my God, I almost passed out.
Did you get a visual? You deserve it, right? Like
I love you. Right now, this is. I'm sorry to. Spence. I'm gushing right now in love. This is awesome. Yeah.
I know.
The fact that she just out of pocket said that. Oh my God.
Snip, snip.
Anyway,
what the hell were we just talking about?
Yeah, I know, right?
Sorry, we were talking about the scene, and we're still in the first scene, so we probably should pivot to the second scene.
No, but we were talking about circumcision too, and that was an important subject. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
A phallic image. I'm sorry,
All right.
everyone. So as we pivot to the second scene, because this is ADHD as shit, and I love it. The second scene is intense. This is pretty much like the pinnacle of the entire movie, Doc. So I assume you picked this for many different reasons. I was thinking more of not necessarily ADHD. I was thinking just someone finally becoming into their own. And when she starts to untangle her hair, right, and she's like more loose, she's dancing. She got the moves now, right? I'm like, you get it, girl.
Right.
She got her own house where she's comfortable. Why did you pick this scene?
Got her own house.
Hey, pause. One of my clients said, I bought a house now. Fuck the guy that left me. And I was like, you got a house? I was like, damn, girl, you need to get a car now.
How do you get there?
I was like, she bought it. She's like, I haven't done anything in my life. Girl, you owned a house at 28. I think at 28, I was still picking boogers. Besides the point. So, I'm sorry, Dr. Kahn. I'm sorry. I saw her
visuals.
What color?
You know it's green. Why are we lying?
No, it's
here?
it's the bloody ones. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Ew.
Oh, got a nosebleed.
See, now you've lost a bunch of viewers.
Picked a little too hard, you know.
Dr. Kahn, you got to have viewers to lose them. Yeah, I'm talking about for our pod. Yeah, that's a self.
Yeah, no, we have no followers. It's fine.
Wait, but yeah,
you have no followers.
If we're being sarcastic, my dad hates when I do this. He hates when I get self-deprecative. But whatever, I think it's funny.
You have like over 18,000. I looked earlier today. I was like, oh man, they're doing
You got to
well.
make sure, like, okay, I can only stand a certain amount of bullshit because of the 18,000.
I was like, can I put up with these people? Like,
There you go.
what's the price I gotta pay?
She's being for real right now. I know this is coming off joking, but we've thought the same too. When like someone's like at 500, I'm like, you got a short lease, motherfucker.
You better be funny as hell.
Yeah, or I'll be like, I really hope I like them.
Well, hopefully you do. Damn, I'm not playing this game.
Okay.
All right. Anyways,
Why'd you
let
do
it
this?
go. Yes.
Wait, I have to maneuver my face.
Why did you pick
Why did
this
you
scene?
pick the scene, Dr. Gilly? Why did you pick the scene?
I picked the Let It Go scene. Yeah.
Yes.
So as I was saying before we started recording, I was transitioning between different jobs, and at another practice where I was working, I felt like very reined in and judged for being very blunt, which I am. And I felt like I couldn't be myself. Like I felt like monitored ever since starting to write my book, and when I started to become a little bit more public. Before that, when I was living under a rock, everything was fine. But, when I started appearing in Google searches, then things became more complicated because I don't have much of a filter. And I like that about me, but it could be a problem too, as we all know, whoever's neurodivergent. And so basically I was in a position where I was deciding, what do I do with this? Do I stay or do I go? Will I stay or will I go? So I had a trip to Disney with my family. Literally, it was like I had an issue, like a really big issue, like something that happened at my job. And then the next day we left and went to Disney. And I had told my husband, like, I want to quit. And he said to me, I will respect your decision if you can wait a few days. And if you still have that thought, and a few days from now at the end of the trip, you can quit.
Yep.
So I said, okay. And I said, and if you know me, I will want to quit in 3 days too. And that's what happened. But while I was on the trip, I was thinking about it. I was trying to have an open mind and really kind of decide, what do I want to do? And we sat through the Frozen show in Disney, and the song came on and the lyrics showed up, and I just started crying. Like I was trying not to show my kids that I was crying, right? But they really touched me, the lyrics. And, if you haven't read the lyrics to Let It Go and you're neurodivergent, please read them. Because it was all about, right? Like conceal, don't feel, don't let it show.
Yep.
And then she just lets it go. And that's exactly what I wanted. I felt like I just wanted to break out of this cocoon and, right, just be the butterfly that I am and just allow myself to be me without any pressure. Like I can't be creative if I'm feeling suppressed. And, the point of everything that I'm doing is to empower girls and to help them
Young
feel
women.
comfortable.
Yep.
It's being themselves, so like, no. So it just kind of made me feel more confident and, in my decision, and also inspired to continue on the path that I was already on. And yeah, so that's kind of when we connected, my brain first went to Frozen because of that
Yeah, it's a
moment.
real impactful moment.
Yeah. But also when I was rewatching the movie, I realized how impulsive Anna is. So it really is like the perfect fit if you're talking about ADHD in women.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah.
I feel like, as we know, a lot of folks that are diagnosed like autistic, the rates of unemployment are extremely high. Some of them report up to 80, 90% are unemployed. And me and Spence know it's hard to get jobs because of the interview skills that are needed and the personable skills. And like, I'm fantastic in a wooer right on my assessments. Spence's code switching is a little bit different, but mine's really good. But still, I can get into some weird phases where I'll say things bluntly, or I get a little frustrated with a question. And I'm like, so what the fuck do you want from me? You want me to tell you how I process my trauma? I told this to my supervisor. She said, we need to talk about your interview skills. I said, ain't no one punking me in no interview. When we leave the office, remember, I'm going to be the top dog when we walk outside the building. I ain't no punk now. I should be either dead or in jail. I've been in a lot of shit. Guns pulled out of me. Been in multiple fights. I don't take no shit from no one. I teach my clients to take no shit from no one too.
Gun pulled on you?
Oh, we talking multiple guns. How many guns you want?
Yeah. Not just one, multiple.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so let's shift topics now.
Oh, sorry. Well, it's different when you grew up poor and black or brown in America. Things can get different. Um,
Wow.
and
You
officers
have
too.
really-
So
you
this
have an
is
interesting story.
a lot of
Wow.
stories. My dad wants me to write a book, and I'd have to text to speech it or speech to text it because I can't write. So
Do it. I did that when I sat down and first started my book with the idea. I literally recorded my voice in my phone and then typed it up, and that's how the idea came.
There you go.
Do it.
I might do some chapters. I'm gonna do one specific chapter on how I invited a therapist on my podcast, and she said that I got an emotionally and physically abused panda on my wall. That's you.
Yeah. Yeah. So that should be in the acknowledgments section.
Acknowledgement. Thank you to this crazy woman,
Dr. Gilly.
Dr. Gilly. That's the first time that panda's ever been.
Who needs a chill pill?
Oh my god.
You and that.
A chill pill, because she keeps referencing it again. That's why I'm like,
Because it's in front of my face.
There's a lot of things in front of your face right now. There's two people too.
No, I also the shoes too. Like in my mind, I'm just like, are they really shoes or is that part of the image?
No, it's part of the image, but he's got other shoes. Yeah.
There's real shoes.
Yep.
Look at that.
I mean, I should show you the storage of stuffed animals that I have just sitting here.
There they are.
Oh, those are cute.
There's like a million of them.
Cute until it's a pile. You're like,
well,
is he collecting them?
They're having fun. They're having a party. They've done too many pills. Okay.
Maybe chill pills. All right. Anyway,
as we get it right, that scene, as I said, when she starts to undo her hair, I start to see a lot of my perfectionistic straight A students, my obsessive students start to relax. It's not about other people's or society's expectations. When I'm talking to my international clients, it's not their parents and their culture and what does society think when we're talking about arranged marriages and things like that, or being the older sibling, but the younger siblings getting married in some of these kids. And there's a lot of stigma and there's a lot of like societal social shame. And we start to break free of these things. But man, when you're autistic or ADHD and like things are ingrained, now it's like this core belief that I am horrible if I don't follow this structure. It's hard to pivot from that. Because you get an hour a week with me for however long your insurance covers. At the school, we only get so many sessions per semester. So it's hard to rewrite 20 years of societal abuse. It can be done though, and I've had tons of success. But when I see this clip, it makes me like hard to breathe. Because I get emotionally like excited, but also kind of devastated on who she is. And then she starts to pivot and she's building this palace, and this palace is gorgeous and magnificent. It's in the mountain. And now she is who she is. And here I am.
Exactly.
And that's the moment that a therapist, that's our holy grail right there. That's what we want for all our clients. That's what we want for our own lives. Shit, forget them. That's what I want for myself. And I think that's what we're trying to do on this podcast, is allow people to be authentically them. Our listeners, our followers, right? The content that we create, every single guest that we have come on, we act like, did you have fun? You know, did you smile? Did you chill with us? Did you take all the pills with us? That comes off a little self-harming. Sorry. And so I'm going to pivot to you right now. So with us, I don't feel like you mask for anyone anymore. I don't feel like you take any shit from anyone. Do you mask these days or no?
Like, do I want to say this?
Go ahead.
Oh, with you guys, I'm a chili pilly gilly.
That I actually kind of like that. A chili pilly Gilly.
There you go.
Oh, her name's Gilly. Oh, I thought.
Oh my God! Did you just get that?
I was thinking girly, like Gilly girly.
No, I'm Gilly.
I know. So, do you mask with others much, or no? You're pretty much, you are who you are. Everyone else can just get in line.
I don't know. I mean, the truth is, like,
it's hard.
I try to mask, but also because what I'm thinking about is like building rapport with different types of clients. Because there are definitely people I've worked with where in the beginning I'm like, I don't like you, but I make it work. And I think it's like this mindset of maybe they're putting a wall up and the real human, good part of them is going to come out if I'm just patient and I'm accepting.
Yep.
And it usually happens that way, where in the beginning, especially with parents, I think, and a lot of times parents of neurodivergent kids, because they're in and out of schools, they face a lot of rejection, they're very skeptical. And I think they have a wall up, like when they meet a professional, because they think that the same thing is going to happen again. And so in the beginning, it could be a little bit uncomfortable, or I feel like they're testing me. But I just kind of have gotten into the automatic kind of mindset to just, be patient, give them the benefit of the doubt, and also remind yourself that, like, if any kind of like tension is coming out, it's because they care about their kid.
Yep.
And, roll with that, and eventually they relax, and, I have very, very good rapport with them, but it's getting through, I think, like the beginning.
The beginning, yep.
Hard. Yeah.
I think with a lot of my clients, I'll make this real quick. A lot of my clients, especially really men, I'm doing therapy, but I'm also teaching. There's certain ways to act and behave that I believe to be true, but I know that it's just true throughout the spectrum of like humanity. And I'm trying to teach them, you got a certain responsibility. There's a lot of shit dudes out here, and we got some catching up to do, especially depending on, different race and stuff like that. And then when I work with my women, I'm always trying to get them to go into that Elsa mode, if they so need to, unless they got to pull back. Like we just talked about in the Black Swan. Dude, they got too much Black Swan going on. They're too far out. We got to reel some shit in, too many pills.
Become the white swan.
The white swan. So yeah, I love the duality of pushing folks and being therapeutic, but then also like, hey man, we all got an implicit bias and we're all got our own like technically small agendas where not everything is blank. With some clients it's tough. And it's like, I'd be questioning people like, do you think this is good to do to people? This isn't how people usually treat each other. And this is what you're doing. Like, what are you doing? Do you think that you're being controlling? Do you think that stealing and reading the text are good? I know every once in a while it'll slip because I'll get like emotional in the thing. I'll get caught up in the story and I'll be like, Nas, what are you thinking? Because my face goes stoic. I'm like, I'm not going to lie. I feel bad for your partner. And my kid like decompensated. But it was something that they needed to hear in the moment because now we legit started to do the real work on their behaviors, which are detrimental to them and their partner. And she always reminds me too, I remember what you said. I'm like, chill out, kid. They're good now, but there was a lot of bad stuff going on. So as we pivot into this last scene, it kind of ties in a bunch of different things where this PTSD stuff, technically everything that Dr. Kahn talked about is very traumatic. So they're not the big T's, right? The big ACEs trauma scores from childhood. It's the small T's. So people are telling you it's this or that, or you don't act a certain way. Why are you being stoic? Well, telling you how to act at work. Those are little small traumas, little wounds. But I see this as a bigger wound. She almost hurts her sister. That can be terrifying. And then, why do you want distance? Well, I want distance to protect you. And she's like, but I'm not going anywhere. So it leads in this beautiful song where I'm not going anywhere. And I guess I wanted you to preach on that, Doc. Is that, what did you think about the scene? But specifically, if I can pivot you into one direction, is do you think that your clients understand how much another human validating them or affirming them is like healing? Because I don't think a lot of people understand how healing it is to have someone else being like, I see you and I know you got some shit, but I ain't going anywhere. My clients, they're super damaged. I ain't going anywhere. And I tell them, if, hey, you fuck up and go back or, regress, maybe fall back into some bad behaviors, I ain't going anywhere.
Right.
And so what did you think about the scene, but specifically how affirming and awesome is it to have validation, or does it actually not mean that much? And I'm just talking out, I'm talking bullshit. I had pivoted away from that metaphor to save you.
Yeah. Thank you. No, I was just thinking about, I used to do a social skills group
Okay.
for neurodivergent, like preteens, that age group, like early high school and late middle school. And the research on social skills groups is not great in that, like, if you're teaching skills to kids, then and they're neurodivergent, generally it's not very generalizable, like to the real world. But there are ways to make it more generalizable, like if they're practicing the skills with each other rather than just being taught.
Yep.
But to me, the part that made me still want to have one, that made it worth it to me, even if, the generalizability is not great. Well, one, I also worked with the parents, but outside of that was getting these kids together to support each other, because some of these kids have never seen another autistic kid, or have never heard about ADHD, or didn't even know that people went by different pronouns, like they're not in high school yet, or and so it was nice to get the kids together so they could learn from each other. And it was amazing also to see some of them like laughing and looking at these other kids like, you're just like me. And I think there's no better therapy. And, when I left, we had to bring that group to an instant halt, which was, very sad. And recently I had a kid ask me, like, well, what happened to the social skills group? And it made me really sad for him. But you can't really control everything that happens in life. But the bottom line is that I've seen it really positively, like, impact kids when they're able to develop some kind of like a support network, like even if it's temporary, and if it develops into a friendship, that's wonderful. And if it doesn't, they've got like the memory.
Something. It's something. I've loved leading my autism support groups. There's some teaching in there. There's some games in there. There's some validation. There's some insight. There's some pedagogy, from them to each other, not necessarily always me. Sometimes there's social skills that we work on in these groups too, like how to start conversations, how to build upon that, how to get phone numbers to maybe go on a date, or just to get pizza with like another homie. I was talking to a boy the other day. I said, you should ask him out for pizza. He said, men do that? I was like, most men like pizza, and if you don't like gluten, there's gluten-free pizza. So ask him out on a man date and it'll be fine. Well, we don't do that. And my country, I'm like, you ain't in your country no more, homie. You in America. You in America.
Right.
Where we eat pizza with other dudes.
With the sweater in the background, right?
Yeah. Be a man, cry. Be a man, eat pizza with another man.
That's the next iteration.
Yep. And the thing is it's so healing to be with other people, but we get so isolated because we get so socially anxious of rejection, or that's stupid, or maybe that's too feminine, or maybe they're going to think I'm like gay. No, man, you're going to eat pizza with, people can be friends with people without sexualizing everything. And not everything has to be a sexual context. Me and Spencer talk about this all the time. They'll be like, oh, why are you being nice to me? And they're like, because I'm a good person.
I know. But that's usually with women though.
Correct.
Where they have to be on like the defense more than
Correct.
a guy does, where it's just like, what do you want, man?
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, that's how we hung out, and that's how we, got to know each other, was actually going to a Chinese restaurant over in Winona.
Just eating food.
Just getting food. Yeah.
Yep.
So
I met a dude at Sam's the other day. He cuts into me and he's, hey, you the big boy from the gym?
Maybe.
I said, possibly. And so I can feel myself like next time we see each other, it's going to lead into a conversation. And if that leads into multiple conversations, well, now we're getting food. So I'm already hyperfantasic about the possible friendship with this dude at the gym, and then possible food. I just want to bring attention to healing just through validation, compassion, neurodivergent folks, like you said, we find each other. But also how isolating and segregating that can be from others. As we know, America is technically just as segregated as it was back in the 50s and 60s now. Whites here, blacks here, Latinx here, right? Jewish, Arabs, different races of, ethnicity, damn it, religions separated, economic status. There's so many things that separate us, but we have this internet that connects us. And it gets really sad because we never get to talk to other humans now. We just go in these little silos, and it creates like so much like hatred and animosity or fear. Like we talked about with Elsa, where she's that monster. And it makes me really sad because everyone thinks things are getting more progressive. And I was telling my dad, like, these white kids have never seen a brown dude or a black dude. Like, they won't have those experiences. They've never been around any queer folks or trans folks. And I'm like,
Which white?
What'd you say?
Which ones?
The white dudes, like in these schools, like they'll never be exposed to like the diversity of other ethnic cultures or like other LGBTQ statuses. And vice versa. It's just sad to know that people are missing out on experiencing other humans.
Yeah, that is true. So I live in Georgia, and there's some, Atlanta is very diverse.
Very diverse, I've heard.
Yes. But then as you drive into different areas, like my husband, he likes to explore different areas. So we drove to a different city, and we're sitting in a restaurant, and I'm like, no one's black here. Everybody's color, and like people don't even notice.
No.
Like it doesn't even, I'm just like, this is like out of like a dystopian movie, where like everyone is the same. I'm like, it's creeping me out. Like
it's weird. We were at this because I work at Purdue University, right? And they had this big thing where all the employees got together and they're giving out awards and all that. And I look at my friend. I said, man, I'm like one of 3 colored people and like 1,000 people. I'm like, dude, this is fucking weird. And he's like, yeah, dude, this is intense. And our counseling center is actually kind of pretty diverse. A lot of Asian folks, but not necessarily any Mexican. There's only one other black person. I'm the only Latino or Arab, and there's only other one black person. And the rest would be either Korean, Chinese, and then also from India or Pakistan. But you look at the rest of the faculty and staff, and you're like, holy shit. It's intense to be in these spaces. I wonder, do people talk? Making a small pivot back to ADHD and autism. I see some of these things not really mean much to our populations, though. I don't really care who the hell you are. As long as you're like regulating, they're like, let's be friends. Right? You could have any identity in the fucking world. They're like, I like you.
True.
I like you.
It's true. It's so true. It's so true. Yeah, I'm thinking about when I was in college. Sorry, my brain takes these hiatuses. I studied abroad for a semester in Israel at the University of Haifa.
Okay.
And I chose University of Haifa because I lost my mom to breast cancer when I was 4.
Yep.
And we had moved to the US, and she wasn't happy here. And we were about to move to Israel. I was born here in the US, but we had bought an apartment. I picked out my room. I was 4. And right before we were about to move, she got diagnosed, and she was pretty far along. It was like a very rare subtype, and insidious. And so because, I always kind of had the thought, like, I would have had this alternate life.
Yeah.
Where I was Israeli and then maybe studying abroad at University of Miami, it would have been completely
different.
So I just thought, like, in honor of that, if I'm going to study somewhere else, this is where I'm going to study.
Okay.
That's where she's from.
Yep.
And so when I was studying there, Haifa is very diverse. And so there's a big Arab population of students there. They get like scholarships and whatever. I mean, University of Haifa is all about that. And when I took one class that was in a like mainstream lecture hall that was part of the University of Haifa. So it wasn't even part of like the international school or anything. And I speak Hebrew. And so I sat next to a couple Israeli girls, and then there were like the Arab girls who sat on this side, and then there were like the Russian girls who like sat behind me. And it took me like a couple classes to realize, like, yes, we're all together, but we're segregated. Like the people from this cultural group are here, right? The people from this cultural group are here, and here's this stupid American, right? University of Miami, right? Like talking to all of them. I'm like looking at pictures, like from like her wedding. It was like some kind of, I think it was her wedding where she wore like 7 different dresses. It was gorgeous. And then, I was just fascinated like by everyone, but I also noticed they didn't talk to each other. I would talk to this group and then I would turn to this group, and like, it's sad, I don't understand it. Like, why don't people want to learn about each other?
I don't know what to tell you.
People get scared. They just don't want to do it.
Yep.
They just don't want to do it. Because then you don't want to be seen as different from those other people. And then they don't want to be seen different. And it just keeps on going on and on.
It's just this internal insecurity. I think we're all afraid of being judged.
Yep. Yeah. Judged, and there's a lot
Even though we could be judged anyways, just from, but inside their own cliques,
They'll be judged from inside their own cliques. Like, this is a horrible term, but this is what they used to use. You'll be a race traitor. That's what they tell white people all the time when they're friends with people of color. You done ashamed your race. And so if like the nerdy kid talks to the cool kids, now the cool kid's like, oh, you're a nerd. We see this in movies all the time. Like, oh, you're talking to the autistic kid. Let's bully you now. Like, what the fuck?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, you're talking to the gay kid. Oh, you're gay too. I mean, yeah, but like, what you gonna do?
350.
I'm dating you now, boy.
Oh my God.
Keep talking shit.
Back to prison we go.
You look really cute when you're mad.
Oh my God, that's a good one. When you spit out fucking slurs, you're actually like very attractive.
Oh my God.
I love the way your face glistens when you're being racist.
It's so shiny.
I'm actually very weirded out right now because that pivot, and I just squeezed something.
Just hug Winnie the Pooh.
You had that one hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
he has.
And you have like your handy Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Oh, he has multiple stuffed animals at the go.
He's got a heavy tush. He's got a heavy tush.
Oh my God. A lot of honey. Eating a lot of honey.
Because it's full of poo. The puns.
Okay. Spence, as we wrap up the show today.
That's a good way to wrap it up.
Yep. I'm ready.
I thought you were saying something else.
Oh no, I was pitching it to you to pitch it back to her.
Jeez. All right, Dr. Gilly. Anything you want to plug before we get out of here to our fans?
I don't know. That's like a lot of responsibility. Can you give
it's on your shoulders.
Direction.
Your socials, your new book that you're gonna get.
Got it. Okay. Yes, I don't even think about that. Like, all right. So
promote.
If you'd like to learn more about me,
yes,
then go to my website, drgillykahn.com. Oh, Pooh Bear. That's a cute one. And then you can find me on Instagram at Dr. Gilly Kahn.
Okay.
That was the thing I had to learn too, like the Instagram handle. I was just like, what's all this at thing about? Like, I had no clue. And I also blog for Attitude Magazine. So you can find me on the Attitude Magazine website. And if you have ADHD or executive functioning challenges, I would recommend that you look at the website anyway, because it's amazing. They have so many resources and they're very understandable. And I also have my autistic folks look at some of that stuff too, because there's just so much overlap.
Awesome.
Down to even like, and I'm not sponsored or whatever, but like, down to even like finding a therapist in your area who specializes in ADHD. So yeah, that's my plug.
Plugs.
Okay. Oh, hey, you did a great job.
You did it.
And it's spelled ADDITUDE, and attitude. Attitude. So
Right.
not like attitude.
We
Just
have
like,
an act.
there
Hey,
you go.
funny story. I remember one time I was DMing people like to like come on the podcast, and I told one person I like your at, just like the at sign, and they're like, "What do you mean by that?" And I was like, "I swear to God, I meant your handle, your name, not your tush, not your tush."
Not this time, sister. Not this time.
But your tush would be with 2 stars too. So
Oh, see, there you go.
See?
They should have known that. They should have known that.
I blame the women. I blame.
why?
He's just being an asshole. Anyways, thank you, Dr. Gilly. There it is. Thank you, Dr. Gilly Kahn, for coming on the show. Have some fun. It was good.
Yes.
It was good. Right? Yeah. Talked a lot about chill pills. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I'm Spencer. That's Nas. Different Spectrum Podcast.
All right, everyone. Much love, and remember to take care of yourselves.
Or don't.
And that's completely up to you. See ya.
Bye.